Hello. So, I wanted to make a video today about Onision's husband, who I think they are still together. I'm like 90% sure that Onision is still dating this person, or still married to this person, based on some stuff that I'm going to talk about later. Their partner, who started out as Taylor and then changed their name to Lady, and then changed their name to Kai, and then changed their name to Lucas, and I don't know if their name is still Lucas, but one of the social media handles that they use is something different, but they're also trying to hide their identity, so like I don't know if that means that they don't go by Lucas anymore, or if that just means that they're using like a fake name. Either way, I'm going to call him Lucas throughout this video, and I am going to refer to him with he, him pronouns. I'm also not going to be misgendering and or debating whether or not he's really trans. I don't give a shit whether or not he's trans, so I'm not doing that. Onision, I could make hours of content based on Onision if I really wanted to. I have actually, I used to watch Onision when I was 12, because I love BL, and I saw him make out with Shane Dawson that one time, and I was signed up at that point. But yeah, I used to watch Onision. I used to watch Uh-Oh Bro more than Onision, because he did like the Tumblr deep dive videos, and I thought that those were funny. So I'm very familiar with this lore, and I'm very familiar with Lucas. I might slip up and actually call them Kai, because they were Kai when they were Lainey, and then they were Kai while I was watching the videos. But Lucas basically started out as an Onision fan. They used to reply to Onision's Twitter when they were like 15 to 16, at around some point, Onision started responding to them, and they officially started dating when Lucas was 17 and Onision was 26. They were very, I guess, in your face about how it wasn't technically illegal. Like they would like break down the laws and be like, no, technically we're allowed. Like they were like those kind of people. Technically it's allowed. And you're like, yeah, but it's still fucking weird. I'm 22. And I don't like to even be friends with people who are under 20, so I don't understand why you would be 26 and dating a 17-year-old. So when Lucas was roughly around 20, they had always been bi. They had been very open about being bisexual. But him and Onision opened up their relationship. They started bringing in, like, girls. Some of them, they were just straight up, they were dating, they were in a polyamorous relationship with, but then there was also some girls that were minors who, and Greg likes to claim, Onision likes to claim that, he has a hero complex, so he was like, oh, I was just saving these poor innocent minors because their home lives were bad, and I was bringing them into my house, which is weird. They also have 2 kids, which I think is also worth noting, because, the kids were there and they were bringing in all these different women. So one of these girls was Sarah, who was 14. Lucas actually had guardianship of Sarah. At the time, Lucas and Greg were dating this 18-year-old girl named Billy. Basically, they kept Sarah around until she was old enough to date, and then they started dating her. Sarah went on record saying that she felt like, at the time it would have been Kai, but Kai and I were both pressured into it. Lucas also sent Sarah nudes when Sarah was a minor, and Sarah was also coerced into sending Lucas nudes when she was a minor. That's illegal, by the way. That's very illegal. So the question is like, oh, should Lucas be online? Lucas should probably be in fucking jail. Let's be real here. It's not going to happen. I actually think that the court case with them is still going on right now, but I don't know for certain. So, I actually got the GeoEngage content recommended to me, because I'm trans, and sometimes I like to watch trans people who, have better lives than mine. So I get some of that content sometimes recommended. So I got a video, and I think it was the one where they're like, when hot and trans is being illegal, and they're like kneel down on the pavement. So I got that, and then like a couple swipes later, I realized that it was Lucas, aka Kai. And I was like, oh shit, I just got that video recommended to me. Lucas and this person, Reddit is calling this person Ryan. I'll talk about that in a second. They opened a TikTok it was originally called Geo Engage, and then people found out that it was Lucas/Kai, based on the tattoos and the side profile, because they were going out of their way to hide their face, but you could still kind of tell just by like bone structures and like nose shapes, and also the locations that they were filming in. Like the TikToks from the account is now called Boys in Bloom, which is weird. But the like locations of the TikToks is the same as Onision's TikToks, which is another reason why I think that they're still together. But that was also used for people to be like, this is literally Lucas/Kai. They're calling the other guy in the video Ryan, and he actually has a wife, so they're not dating, because there were people who thought that they were dating, but I think that they're just friends. They claim to have been friends for 10 years, and there is older pictures of them together, like pre-T. So basically, Ryan would have been around during the time that they were grooming minors. There's also, I saw this one thing on Reddit where people believe that there was somebody that they were involved with who, like low-key was kind of part of their, like when they were in an open relationship, who was one of the people that was there. Some people think it might have been this Ryan person before they transitioned, but nobody really knows because they're being very secretive about it. This content is trans specific, and it seems to cater to a younger trans audience, which is part of the reason why I wanted to talk about it, because I remember watching videos like these when I was 14, wishing that I was on T and living vicariously through influencers like fucking Storm Ryan and No Offense and all those people. I remember watching these kinds of videos in middle school and high school. TikTok is also an app with a large percentage of the users being minors. So basically, you've got an app where there are a lot of children on it, which are already an at-risk population, and you have a history of receiving nudes/sending nudes to minors. Not to mention that you are also catering to trans people. If your target is transgender and queer teens, and you have a history of being weird with minors, along with a partner who, in his own words, has a hero complex, who had a history of bringing troubled teens into your house, this looks objectively bad. Trans teenagers are a very at-risk population, especially ones with unaccepting parents and bad home lives. These children are typically desperate for connection and attention, and I could see this going very badly. Even with the way that they are marketing the TikTok account, originally it was called Geo Engage, but now it's called Boys in Bloom. Their profile picture is like little cartoons. These are like 30. Lucas is definitely 30. I don't know how old the other guy is, but I'm assuming late 20s, early 30s. Why are you doing this? Why are you marketing your videos like this? They originally had a dog account called Snoot Squad. I can't find it. It's been deleted, I think. But a lot of it is very like soft boy aesthetic stuff, and it's like you're 30 and you have 2 kids, and there's nothing wrong with leaning into like, oh, I like pastels, and oh, I like whatever, but I think that you should be disclosing your age. Maybe, I don't even know. The whole thing just kind of gives me the ick. And yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about it from a trans perspective, because I think that, and I'm not saying that like this is going to happen, but I do feel like something bad could happen with the history that they have online. I feel like they've probably learned their lesson by now, but I don't know. either way, I just, like, I don't love it. And it kept popping up on my TikTok, and I was like, ooh, not good. But yeah, I think that Lucas is still with Onision. They've, like, fully transitioned now. They have top surgery. They're on testosterone. I'm kind of curious on how Onision feels about that, because Onision, I remember, was always kind of weird about the pronoun thing. So I always, I'm kind of curious how Onision, because at first when I saw them, when I saw the videos, and I realized that it was Lucas, I assumed that they had broken up with Onision and that they were dating this new guy. And I was like, okay, like, you're a piece of shit, but, like, I'm glad you got out of that. But then I realized that they're still dating, that they're still married to Onision, so never mind. Let me know what you think. I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.